All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is gonna be a lesson going into how the idea of reparations and all of these things. The Bible pretty much explains why these different nations of this world, man, will never want to accept us receiving any kind of repairing for the wrongs that's been done to us, man. But this, regardless of what they think, anyway, Yahweh's got plans for the repairing of our nation, because that's pretty much what reparations means. It means to repair, right? Pretty much, when you look up the definition, it means to repair, man. But I'm gonna go into the scriptures and show why these other nations are not with us receiving reparations, man. Right? They're not with us being builded back up again. They're not with that. And anything that they would use and try and say, here, okay, this is what we've decided is the punishment for our crimes. Whatever they would give you, it would be a trick ultimately. This is Esther chapter 3 and verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So ultimately, these people know that our way as Israelites is completely different to their way, man. We're the most ones against perverse LGBTQHIJK element of P, alphabet and rainbowing type doctrines. We're the main ones that are against that, man. We're not for that. Now, in order to promote that wickedness on the earth, they've found the people among our people that are wicked and that are down for that kind of stuff, and they've made them the face of it, because they know that the things that we do cause for everybody else to follow, because we naturally have the spirit on us that makes people want to follow us, man. Despite all the hatred that these people have for us, they still want to follow us and copy everything that we do all the time, man. Despite their hate, that you might have a complete hardcore racist against so-called black people and all that, but they'll have a throw party and be listening to nothing but rap music in there, nothing but reggae in there, which ain't the music that they invented. Or they'll try and make their own versions of music that we do and copy the whole flow and how we talk and everything, man. Because they're just envious of us, really. Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hand of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasury. So they're against us, man. They don't want us to elevate and rise, man. They don't want it, but they don't want that. And now let me get another one. From in the scriptures too. This is Ezra chapter 4 and verse 11. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king, thy servants, the men on this side of the river, and at such time, be it known unto the king that the Jews which came Salakia, man. Ezra chapter 4 and verse 12. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations. Be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, they will not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and thou shalt in damage the revenue of kings. So they understood that if the Israelites got built up again, right, that they was not going to want to pay none of the taxes that they're talking about. They ain't going to want to follow none of the customs. They ain't going to have to do what they say anymore, right? And this world has flourished very big time, man. Has flourished in a major way from us having to do what other people say. We have to listen to what other people say in one way, shape, or form. Now, what's the reason for that? Well, I'm going to give the answer to those that will have the ears to hear it, right? I'm going to give the answer. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which are commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, if you just read Exodus the 20th chapter, and you read about the 10 commandments, the Israelites have broke those. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have broke those. Just those ones. Then when you factor in the things about beards, not lining up your hair, right, and many other things, the dietary laws, then you break them too. We've all broke them, right? And therefore that's caused us to be cursed. Let me read it again. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. We sinned, therefore we received the curses, and this is one of the curses, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in the want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Now that's happened to us. The yoke of iron especially has happened. If you look up yoke of iron, you will see so-called black men with yokes of iron on their neck, right? So that's one point. But then all these different nations, we have to go to every single one of them for the want of everything. These clothes that I'm wearing, I had to go to heathens to buy these. I had to go to heathen stores to buy these clothes because there ain't no Israelite alternative in mass that doesn't have to in any way interact with no heathens. There's not one. It don't exist. There's not no store that no Israelites have that doesn't have to get their product in any kind of way from no heathens, man. And if someone can find one out there, I bet if you research enough, you'll find that they are dealing in some way with heathens, man, for the fabrics and for the materials that they have to get, and they're getting an unfair price, man. They're having to go to their enemy even to have that. So therefore, if we had our own of every single industry, all of these other different people that are running this earth right now, their pockets are going to be affected. So they ain't going to want us to raise up. They don't want us to increase. They don't really want no form of so-called reparations, as they say it, man. They don't want that. And you have to understand that, man. The real reparations is going to come from the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, right? That's where the real repairing is going to come for our nation. That's where we're really going to receive a benefit for all the wrong that's been done to us, man. That's where we're really going to receive it. Let me get a scripture on that, in fact. This is Luke chapter 4. Luke chapter 4 and verse 18. The Spirit of Yahweh is upon me, because you have anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. You have sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. Now that's reparations, to not be in captivity no more, to not have to go to your enemy for the want of all things. What would really, giving every single descendant from the Atlantic slave trade $1 million or £1 million do? What are they going to do? They're going to buy a house. They have to go to a heathen to buy the house. They start a business. They have to go to a heathen to start all the things that the business is about. That's not the problem for our nation. The problem with our nation is that we don't follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. The problem is that our moral code, we don't have one as a nation of people. In mass, you won't find Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans all set on one way of living, man. They all disagree. Some think adultery is okay. Some think it's wrong. Some think that being a gang member is okay. Others think it's wrong. Some think that men should be able to have multiple wives. Others think that men shouldn't be able to have multiple wives. They're against, some people are for the laws of Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai. Others are against the laws of Yahweh. Right? Some people think that everyone wants to have their own moral code and their own way and what they think we can do things. But Yahweh's already said the way and what we're going to do things, man. But people are against that. Right? The real reparations is to be escaped from this captivity that we're in and not have to hear anything that these people say, because they obviously don't have the answers. You have to understand this, man. Our people went into slavery, right? Our people went into hardcore slavery, and the world that they've made as a result of that is a world where people don't know how many genders there are. They don't know how many genders there are. They don't know what a woman is, but at the same time, they think that they've got a high IQ. Come on, like, what are you talking about? Our people went into slavery for this world to be made. You're having a laugh, and Yahweh's not going to forget what happened, man. He's never going to forget. And that's why it always gets brought up, man. What you did, you Edomites did. He's always going to be brought up what you did to us, man. It's going to continually get brought up, man. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. That's from the book of Obadiah. A book that Christianity doesn't want to read, by the way. Let me carry on reading this. Ezra chapter 4 and verse 12 again. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations. Be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, they will not then they will not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so shall in damage the revenue of the kings. Now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we sent and certified the king, that they may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. That verse 15, that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time. For this cause was this city destroyed. And that's why these people are against us, man, because they know that our ways are different to theirs. We don't like living how they live, man. We're different to them. That's why everyone always copies us all the time. Despite them saying we're just black and all that. That's a black geezer. That's a Mexican geezer. You know, that's a Native American red man and all that. No, man. You people be copying us all the time. You copy our ideas, man. You copy us all the time, man. All the time. You copy what we do to try and make your pockets fatter. You copy our logos, right? We make a logo that's just have been our ancient tribal logo that we just decided to make as the part of our house. And then you'll take it and call that Gucci or call that Versace or something like that, man. You'll take our ancient things that we have and make things out of it and make money. Why can't you do it yourself? Why can't you come up with your own ideas, man? If we ain't nothing. Why is that? Why is it that you don't come up with the ideas and just do it of your own self? Why? Because you ain't got it like that, man. But you want to fake like you have. And that's the reason why you don't want us to be built up, because you know that it's not of a benefit to you and that we're better than you. Even in this state, you Edomites don't. You know what? Let me get a scripture on it, man, and stop running my mouth. Watch this, man. Because you Edomites run your mouths all the time, and you think that you know what everything that's going on, but you're not. You ain't nothing what you think you are, man. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 30. The poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. People like us, right? Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we're poor in this world, man. But we get honored for the things that we can actually do, right? We get honored for the things that we can actually do in this world. Whereas you Edomites get honored because you've got money, right? That's why people will hear and see all the things that you people do that are wicked, right? But they'll still say, but he's got money though. So because they'll assume that the money is a sign that what you're doing is good. Because they don't understand that Yahweh's made you be able to get away with this so that he can have a reason to destroy you. They don't understand that. We understand it though. Verse 30 again, Sirach chapter 10 and verse 30. The poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. He that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? So if we're honored right now as we're poor, how much more when Yahweh builds us back up again and makes us go back to our own land, makes us have the ability to not have to listen to anything that any of you people say, man. We ain't going to have to listen to none of your opinions. We ain't going to have to debate you on whether it's a good thing or whether slavery wasn't that bad or none of that. We ain't going to have to hear nothing what you got to say. We're just going to show you what it is. We ain't going to have to hear anything that you people say anymore, man. We're not going to have to hear any of your stupid ideas. We're not going to have to hear you tell us to get over this or get over that. We're going to be able to decide what it's going to be, man. You're going to have to listen to us. You're going to have to listen to what we say. Let me prove it. The way out everything's going to ultimately go is so that you people are going to have to listen to what we say. We ain't going to have to listen to what you say, man. That's for now. That's for now. We might have to be at work and stomach one of you Edomites asking us why we came back from our break for one minute too long, or why we spent too long in a toilet. If we went to the toilet for a toilet break, they're trying to time our toilet break or whatever, or they're trying to come up with a way to get us fired, even with their own understanding, even from their own mouth. They've said that this guy was a good worker. So, and people can say whatever they want to say regarding that. You people are heathens, man, right? And you're against us in every way, man. You're against us in every way. And there's many Israelites out there that have been fired or hired and fired, man. And that even though they might think they're in their job right now and they're comfortable, the people in their workplace are scheming to try and get rid of them, despite how hard they work, man. And that's some things that some Israelites are going through right now, man. Despite them being probably the best worker in the place, people are trying to find out ways to get rid of them. And that's what it is under these curses, man. So talking about some reparations and all that, that ain't gonna save you, man. You need to fix up all you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out there. You need to fix up your moral code first. Money ain't gonna help you. You'll just be a wicked motherfucker with money. That's all you'd be. Look at all these rappers that get money. What do they do with it? Buy it to become the biggest gangster in their little neighborhood, shooting up the space. So what's money gonna do, man? Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So we're going to be telling you people what to say. Verse 4, And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. We're going to judge among the nations. We're going to be telling you people how to live, man. You ain't going to be telling us nothing. You ain't going to be saying, oh, you people need to do this. You people need to do that. You need to get over this. You need to get over. No, we're going to be telling you what it is, man. We're going to be telling you, right? We're going to be saying to you, you need to fix this and that about yourself. You need to stop doing this. And if you've got a problem with that, we're going to handle it the way that the law says to handle it, which is the thing that you people don't like right now, man. Whereas right now in this world, that's what happens to us. We're against this and we're against that, and we get told we're hateful. Even though we might live in Christian countries, we get told we're hateful for wanting the God's laws to be enacted on the earth. That's actually what Christianity speaks to us, telling us that we're wrong for wanting the laws that God gave to the Israelites to be fulfilled and to be acted out on the earth as the moral code of the earth. We get told we're wicked for wanting to be under the new covenant by where every single one of God's laws are programmed in our mind and we keep that. Pete will say to somebody, you're not supposed to be LGBT according to the Bible. And their comeback will be, neither are you supposed to wear mixed fabrics, as if the two things are in any way the same. Or we'll say you're not supposed to eat pork. And they'll say, oh, you're not supposed to have mixed fabrics neither though. Have you got a lamb every year old? They'll just make an excuse, man. But in the time to come, we're not going to have to deal with none of that, man. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 4 again. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Is there war happening on the earth right now? Yes. Are the Israelites supposedly, according to what the world would think, back in the land right now? That's what they say, right? So why is there still war then? Why is there still war going on the earth if their chosen people are in the land? Shouldn't they have fulfilled this, what I just read there? Shouldn't they be making sure that people don't follow those laws? If I do research and I search it up, would I find that LGBT flows and is enhanced and receives a catalytic boost within the land, in Tel Aviv in particular? Wouldn't you find that to be true? So how can those people be the chosen? When they're the ones promoting this, promoting sin onto the world rather than following the laws. But people don't want to answer those questions, and people want to say, here's another thing, man, that shows that this world's hypocritical, man. Everyone will tell us to get over the Atlantic slave trade, or they'll say it wasn't that bad, right? But nobody ever says that to those J-wish people. Nobody ever says that to them. So it shows that these people are not fair. They're not really fair, man. They're not really fair, and they know that they know what they're doing, but they're hoping that we don't know, and they're hoping that we don't see it, man. These world don't want us to get no reparations, man, but it doesn't matter what they want, because Yahweh's going to give it us anyway, right? Yahweh's going to give it us anyway. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So how much more repairing can you get than that? To have the people that thought that you don't deserve no reparations, and the people that thought that you don't deserve no justice for what happened to you, becoming your property. How much how much more repairing can you get than that, man? That's the ultimate form of repair. That's the ultimate form of justice, man. Not what these people are saying. Okay, we're gonna calculate how many of you there is in the world, and we're gonna give you all, let's say, $100,000. That's nothing. That would be nothing, man. That would be the worst idea ever. That we don't deserve no financial reward for no reparation, man. Forget that. Now, if they said, okay, here's some money, who's gonna turn it down? No one. But it don't mean that these prophecies ain't gonna come to pass. So it'd be a waste of money. It'd be a waste of money ultimately if they gave it, because you're still going into slavery. You ain't gonna be able to say, okay, we gave all of you $1 million. Now you don't get to go back to your land and you don't get to fulfill these prophecies. Nah, you can't buy us off, man. We can't be bought off. All that would happen if everyone that accepted that money as a buy off to not receive these prophecies, Yahweh Shai is still gonna come back anyway and slay all of them wicked Israelites too, and they're still gonna end up receiving it anyway. But they're gonna have shame and embarrassment, according to Daniel the 12th chapter. They're going to receive it with shame and everlasting contempt, man. There's no way of getting around this, that we're going to get what we deserve, man. Well, we don't even deserve it, man, to ultimately, but we're going to get what Yahweh says that we deserve. We're going to get what Yahweh planned for the Israelites, man. Just like how Pharaoh, let me read this. Isaiah chapter 16 verse 14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So despite them saying we don't deserve this and we don't deserve that, it don't matter. When you read in the scriptures, Pharaoh didn't know that he'd already been chosen to put the Israelites in captivity, right? And when the Israelites were saying we want to get out, he didn't want to let them go either. He was trying to think, well, why do I need to do this? He was trying to negotiate and come up with the okay, so the men can go, but all the women and the children, they gotta stay. Then it'd be like, okay, all the adults can go, but the children gotta stay. He kept trying to negotiate and flirt with the idea of a reparation, right? But what ended up happening to him and his people, they ended up getting destroyed, man. And a day of celebration was made about that. And that's another point, man, right? All these people want to try and tell us that we ain't the Israelites, right? And that we need to get over the captivity that took place onto our people, right? At the Atlantic slave trade, right? That we need to stop mentioning it. And they think that we're not the chosen. That's what they say. But let's say that those people in the land of Israel are the real chosen then, right? There's a celebration that they have. There's a day that they have remembering what happened to them, called the Passover. And there's a lot of Christians that there's a lot of so-called white people that read the Bible, and they understand that there's a thing called the Passover in the Bible. And what's the Passover about? Is the Passover not about the Israelites talking about when they got saved from a captivity? So how comes all these Christians don't tell people to get over that? How comes they accept that you can talk about that when that happened thousands of years ago, man? The thing we're talking about happened hundreds of years ago. But the thing that's 1,000 years ago, which we can talk, where we are the Israelites anyway, but I'm just using it as a point to speak. I'm using it as a point to speak, man. People may accept it that you can celebrate the Passover, right? And that you can use the Passover as a memorial, right? They'll accept that you can talk about World War One. Your ancestors died in World War One and in World War Two. They don't say to those people that's ancestors died in World War One or World War Two, get over it. You didn't fight in World War One or World War Two. Get over it. They don't say that to them, do they? They don't say that to people that want to talk about, oh, my great granddad was a war veteran. They don't say, get over World War One and World War Two. Get over it. Did you fight in there? Did you personally fight in World War One and World? Nowadays don't say that, man, because you people are hypocrites, man, and you ain't fair, man. You ain't. What's that term Chris Rock came up with recently, man? Selective outrage, man. You people have got selective social justice warrior spirits on you, man. You want to try and say, oh, it's a travesty that that men can't wear dresses and be able to wear dresses. It's a travesty that people can't do that. But then you want to say to us, shut up about what happened to you. We got other problems. Shut up about your slavery. We got big problems going on here. Men want to wear dresses. We need to sort of figure this thing out. That's the kind of stupid things that you people say, man. But we're not accepting that. We're not going to accept that, man. And more importantly, Yahweh is not accepting it. And it don't matter about me, some random guy that you don't know from nowhere saying about all of this. Yahweh said it, man. This ain't gonna happen because I'm saying it. It's gonna happen because it's in the Bible, and the Bible is backed up by the creator of the earth. And anyone that finds that funny, well, you obviously ain't down with the scriptures, then there ain't nothing funny about that, man. If you believe in the Bible, everything that's written in there is gonna happen. Everything. And let me get an end time prophecy too, man. Because people don't want to accept this, but it don't matter what they want to accept, man. It don't matter. It don't matter, man. And we don't want your funky ass reparations neither. So don't think this is no video begging for no money for no we don't care about that, man. We want what's written in the scriptures, in the scripture way of the scripture form of reparations, not some earthly way of some money. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Now, there's a lot of Christians in this world, right? 2.2 billion, right? Do they believe that? Do they accept that? No, they don't, because most of them are frauds, man. And they ain't really down with the scriptures. There was a group of people that got led into captivity. If you type in slavery on the internet and go onto the images section, if you type it in on Google, you're going to see us, Negroes. You're going to see Atlantic slave trade in particular. You're going to see that. But then when you start doing more research, you find out that nobody don't care about what happened to the Native Americans neither. A whole land got stolen, man. Their whole country got stolen. You understand? And nobody don't care about that neither, man. Because they're Israelites too. Nobody don't care about the mocking that happens to the Mexicans. They don't care because they're Israelites too. They don't care that the Mexicans are really doing most of the hard work that happens in the land of America, along with the other tribes, the Negroes and the Latinos following closely behind. They don't care about that, man. I mean, the Negroes and the Native Americans, they don't care about that. They don't care. And they think that they can get to decide what the justice for what they did is going to be. But Yahweh's already decided, man. And the end of it all, right? This is the end of it all, man. Let's go jump to the future. Right, let's jump to the future real quick, man. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And that's why you so-called white people it continually gets brought up to you, what you did to us, man. So that there's shame on the things that you want to glory in. And that's why you're not comfortable boasting about your success, because you know that the foundation of your success came at the hands of killing people, man, and forcing them to work. Chopping their legs off, chopping their hands off, smashing their teeth down their throat, and force feeding them when they want to go on hunger strike, hanging them from trees, castrating them, cannibalism, and then you people want to say it weren't that bad. Would you want that for your people then? If it weren't that bad, anyone that wants to say that weren't that bad, do you want your people to go through that then? And the answer is obviously no, because it was that bad. And nobody don't say that it weren't that bad about anything else that took place on the earth. Nobody don't say World War One weren't that bad. World War Two weren't that bad. Nobody don't say that what happened to those J-Wish people, which you can't even speak about it, because the videos get taken down, right? Nobody don't want to say what happened to them weren't that bad, do they? They want to try and make it, they want to try and defend that whenever that gets brought up. Because you people are hypocrites, man. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. This is what's going to be the end result of all of that, man. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Jacob, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. So it's going to be the complete extermination of all those Edomites, man. That's going to be the end result. So for all that talk, when that happens, yeah, let's hear people say that weren't that bad. Let's see people say that. Let's see people say that it weren't that bad and that we civilized, yeah, when this starts taking place. When I was, yeah, let me read this. Because everyone wants to say we're gonna civilize you lot, man. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna civilize you all. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. We're going to civilize you all, man. You never civilized us. You made us be against the Lord. And because you're against it. How is that civilizing anybody? When the Bible says in Psalm 19 and 7 that the law of Yahweh is perfect. So how can you be civilized when you're not following the laws of God? And when the society goes around the world promoting other countries to promote LGBT and all that, rather than going around the laws saying follow God's commandments. They're trying to make countries not follow some certain of God's commandments, man. They're poking a nose in other people's countries' affairs to make them be more for alphabeting and rainbowing. We're going to civilize the world. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 3. And many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and they will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. We're going to civilize the world, man. And when the world looks at how we're living, they're going to be like, wow. They're not going to be looking at us just because, oh, these people have got money, so what they're saying's got to be right, because how would they have money otherwise? No, they're going to see how we live, man. They're going to see how we live. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Now, if these Christians was really for got the word of the Bible, wouldn't they try and do that then? Wouldn't they try and fulfill this? Wouldn't they say, okay, the ancient Israelites couldn't manage this, so we should try and take their space and do this, what they couldn't do? Because we really believe we're the real chosen of God. We're the spiritual Israel, which there's no such thing, but that's what they say. Shouldn't they try and show it then in their works and show that they're better than us and keep it? But they don't keep it, and we keep it more so than them. Naturally. We're naturally against some of the freaky stuff that these world pushes, man. But they're naturally for it. Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So when it's all said and done, we're going to receive glory for how we live, not for the money that we have. The money's just going to be a catalyst. The riches are going to be and it's not going to be no paper money with one of our faces on there. It's going to be gold and silver, man, real wealth. And we're going to receive real reparations because we're going to have a country, and that country is going to have vegetation. It's going to have fruits that's going to grow from it, trees that's going to grow from it. And we're also going to take the wealth from you other nations, man. You other nations are going to have to pay homage to us, man. You're going to have to pay us some tithes money. And you're still going to have to give us some money anyway, man. Whether you wanted to or not. You're still going to have to pay up, man. But we're going to be coming to receive this wealth from a position of power, not from a position of on some Oliver Twist, please, sir, can I have some more? We're going to be receiving it for real, man. And it doesn't matter how many people think this is funny and how many people couldn't stomach watching all the way to the end of the video. This is going to happen, man. And when it happens, you people are going to have nothing to say. I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.